Alfredo will tell us his winners and losers of free agency day one. So, Alfredo, get to it. Day one, winners. Who are they?
Well, in day one is probably the most craziest day because so many things going on. But I'm gonna tell you and everybody to write down who are the winners and the losers. First of all, with the winners, I'm gonna say the running backs. The entire running back position in NFL free agency were the winners. Why? Because last couple of years we were saying running backs was basically an extinct position. All the players were getting underpaid. They was gonna maybe eliminate the position, but somehow Saquon Barkley had a big contract today. Tony Pollard, DeAndre Swift, year contracts that give them more. For example, in Barkley's case, if he would have and looking at the numbers here, if he would have gone again with the tag, it was basically going to be $12 million. Well, by not doing the tag and resign and go out in free agency, he gained $15 million average annual um for him entirely. So that's a big raise and a big risk that he took on himself.
Hmm.
The other running backs that we have, Tony Pollard, 3 years, $21 million. Pedro, you tell me, do you think Tony Pollard is worth all that money that he got?
No, I don't think he's worth all that money he got. But you know what? I'll let year one of that contract play out, and then we'll discuss it because I think I'm gonna be proven right in that moment.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'll tell you, 3 years, 24 million. I have the exact numbers here. 3 years, 24. So $8 million a year. DeAndre Swift, again, 3 years, $24 million. He's getting $8 million average annually with 15 guarantee. Antonio Gibson, $3 million annually. Devin Singletary, $5 million. Gus Edwards, 2 years, $6 million in total. So for me, the running backs took and Josh Jacobs, 4 years for $48 million with $12 million guarantee. Again, these are moves that last year wasn't gonna happen, and they're doing big difference now.
Alrighty, tell me any other winners you got.
Well, I think the Atlanta Falcons is a big winner. And I know you're going to tell me, Pedro, that I'm crazy, but with Kirk Cousins, why? Yes, Atlanta Falcons overpaid Kirk Cousins, if you can say, because he is just coming off from an Achilles injuries. And the numbers we have it here 4 years, $180 million with $100 million guarantee, 90 at signing. So that is a huge number for a 36-year-old quarterback
Mm-hmm.
that is a fringe top 10.
No,
But you know,
and on top of that, let record show, Alfredo, because you are the one that said this man is a choker. That he does when the biggest moments and the lights are shining the brightest, he's gonna let you down. So
well,
maybe
yes,
him.
you are right, Pedro. He is nothing changes what he is. He is a choker.
Okay.
I would not, but he is the best option in free agency for the Atlanta Falcons. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to go to the Super Bowl with this. Absolutely not. But they're going to be a little bit better. They might be even now. They were a top, bottom 10 team, but
Mhm.
now with Kirk Cousins, they can be a playoff contender because he does. He's adequate. I mean, anything. I'll tell you this: anything is better than what they had the last couple of years at quarterback.
No, you're right about that.
I know you're a big Kirk Cousins fan and you love him, but he did. He's a better option than what they had. So I think the Atlanta Falcons is a big winner because they got definitely better.
Alrighty, any losers?
Well, I think the biggest losers here are the Miami Dolphins in some aspect of players lost.
Yeah.
I agree with the move, but the national consensus is that the Dolphins are big because they had a whole bunch of players that left.
hmm The big players on the defensive side of the ball. We lost one player on the offensive side of the ball. That's got a huge contract, which is I didn't think it was going to happen. We already discussed this in a previous video, but yes, the Miami Dolphins, big losers so far. Let's see what happens after day one.
I will say a team that were a winner, and I wanted to mention so everybody um, can say because not much was a surprise, but the Buffalo Bills, you can say that they're it wasn't as bad as we expected it. Why? Because they did lose Gabriel Davis, and that is a big loss that he went to Jacksonville. Leonard Floyd went to San Francisco. Mitch Morse, their center, they also lost him. But they did re-sign AJ Epinesa. That was someone that they could not lose. I think the rumors is that their defensive tackles are going to be might be re-signed. So those are players that I say that they couldn't lose. It looks like that they'll be re-signing with Buffalo. So I think at least not a small winner. They're not a big, free agency winner, but they were solid.
Alrighty. Any more winners you neglected to tell us about?
Not winners. I'll take a loser, and this one will be a shocker. Justin Fields.
Yeah, Justin Fields. You're right.
Justin Fields, we were projecting that he was basically going to be traded, that he was going to be, and nobody wants him.
Yeah, he was gonna. Wasn't he supposed to? Everybody was linking him to go to the Falcons, and now they got Kirk Cousins.
Yep, yep. He was going to go to the Falcons, the Raiders. They got, some like Gardner Minshew. There was, a couple of the places that needed a quarterback. So, I mean, he might be basically stuck.
Well, not just him. The Chicago Bears may be stuck because if the biggest location that needed a quarterback that everybody knew about was Atlanta, and they picked up Kirk Cousins, were they trying to sell Justin Fields for too much?
Yeah, that could be. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why I cannot give the Bears because a lot of the national consensus saying that the Bears did very good and declared them winners. But here's the thing: they did a trade earlier today. They signed Swift, the running back. I was not a big, proponent of that signing. They got the safety Kevin Bird from before from Tennessee and the Eagles. But just since they did not have the ability of trading away Justin Fields, I think that they're not even winners or losers.
They're lukewarm in this
Yeah,
location.
yeah. Right now they're lukewarm.
Yeah, because we
Um,
can't. I can't like at least I can't call them a winners, any winners or losers because they have a quarterback that they don't want that they have been somewhat public in their flirting with Caleb Williams.
mhm.
So you can't pretty much tell us that you don't want Caleb Williams and and go to other teams and try to pawn off Justin Fields because they know that you're going to have to get rid of him.
Yep, yep,
Yeah, so they're kind of stuck in my case.
yep. And think about it: the Steelers needed a quarterback, and they got Russell Wilson, and that's one surprise that we also had. Russell Wilson signed for $2 million for the minimum.
Yeah, so he's sticking
Uh,
it to Denver.
yep, to stick it to Denver. And then the last loser that I have is the Las Vegas Raiders. Yes, they took probably the best player in free agency, but if you see at what cost, again, and we talked about this in other videos, do you think Christian Wilkins is worth $27 million annually, 82 total guarantee?
No, I can't. I can't see it. I thought the most that he would go for was 24, 23, and wow, they paid the man.
Yeah, and yes, they did have a whole bunch of cap room, but these are things that are down the road it might affect. because you're overpaying for these free agency. They also, another reason why I think they're losers is that they did lose their top um, running back, Josh Jacobs. He went to the Packers. So even though he struggled last year, but 2 years ago he was the NFL leading rusher. So
Correct.
he is 26 year old, so he's still young enough. And now they lost running back. Another move that was kind of questionable was them losing Nichols, their defensive end. 27-year-old, he went to Arizona, a $7 million annual for 3 years for $21 million. I think this is someone that they could have signed. And yes, Wilkins is basically taking over his position, but you wanted to have that defensive line be your strong unit.
Mhm.
You're gonna have Wilkins, Crosby. I think that if for $7 million, having Nichols was good, and it was gonna make him an elite front four. So I think the Raiders, in my case, they're a loser.
Yeah, pretty much Alfredo's winners and losers that are pretty much consensus generally, except the Chicago Bears that we both agree that are not that good because of the situation that they have with Justin Fields. They could have made big winners if they would have been able to trade Justin Fields before free agency, but here we are. At the end of the day, this is what we believe. If you for some reason don't agree, if you agree, give a like, give a comment. Let us know if we don't know anything what we're talking about. Let us know if you agree wholeheartedly with what he says. But at the end of the day, subscribe, like,
I
dislike.
tell you guys, I bet I'm right. The whole world will probably agree that I'm right.
I don't know, Fredo. Sometimes the things you say are a little bit out there, man.
Well, I mean, nothing more than still saying about Tua and Tom Brady. That's still, those are crazy, especially in the earlier videos comparing Tua and Brady. No comparison.
All right then, Alfredo. On to the next video.